Hello and welcome to the Jack and Cole podcast. You've made it to episode 23 of the podcast, so thank you for being here. My name is Cole, and with me is my marvelous co host, Jack, aka Goblin Ringleader. Jack, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How's your day going?
Is going good, just another day in the life. Um, it's been a while. There's a lot of stuff to talk about. Probably should just dive right in. Basically, just to go over the agenda for today, we're talking metagame mentor article via Frank Karsten, and then just like a more like overreaching overview of standard and its healthiness. Um, and Jack will be the main authority on that since he's been grinding a lot of standard every day. You should be able to speak to that. And then we're gonna go over energy lancing very briefly, just the top 8 numbers, which are pretty scary, and then Edge of Eternity highlights. We didn't do spoilers, so we're just gonna go over what we think was impactful, and then after Edge of Eternities, we're gonna hit some spoilers. So, yeah, got a lot to talk about here. Um, Jack, before we get into the mentor article, tell me about Standard. How do you feel about it? Are there any issues? What do you like? What's going on?
There's a really cool mono green deck right now. There's like a lot of really healthy things happening in standard, and it's it's really kind of just overshadowed by this gigantic threat to the format, which was there before the bans and was kind of accentuated by the bans, right? We had this crazy VV deck for a while, and just the bans came in and they were I think they were beautiful bans. They took out a lot of issues, but what they did was they kind of like had one straggling deck left out. They took the payoff piece out of the Corey Steelcutter decks, but they left a different, slightly slower payoff piece in the format. And so you have this hyper efficient, tuned deck that is super good at doing one thing, and now it just has to pivot slightly to do something else. Like the start from the Jeskai Oculus deck of Mako into FOMO into Tursa was very, very strong. And you could play that in mono red. You could play that in any red based deck. And Izzet was just like, okay, well, we don't have like the aggressive threats anymore. What if we just play more creatures and then we just kind of play VV as a different kind of payoff? We're not trying to like kill you super aggro with prowess creatures. Instead, we're trying to play the long game and maybe you know bounce a bunch of different things with Meringue River regions. But it's really interesting how the format adjusted and warped to the bans, and
Mm.
really I think there's a lot of really cool things going on. The issue is Vivi's just too good.
Yep, that sounds about right to me for sure. Someone who is on the outside looking in, be completely transparent. I have played very little to no standard for like right now since the bans. So it makes sense to hear that like the bans felt good, that the bans opened up room for a potentially healthy metagame, and then what filled in those spaces was an unhealthy like outlier and power level, which sounds like it's the VV deck. So I think that segues us nicely into the metagame mentor article. I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to kind of go over the things that stand out to me in the article, since I think that data speaks for itself. Um, let's see. So he analyzed 600 successful tournament decks over the past 2 weeks. Uh, Dataset included every published Magic Online list from standard challenges, showcase challenges, last chance events held between August 1st and 11th. Also incorporated deck lists from regional Arena Championship 9, counting each twice to reflect the elevated competitive level, and the top 8 deck lists from the Champions Cup special qualifiers in Nagoya, Osaka, Osu, Nipponbashi, and Tokyo. So just an example, just kind of to go over the context of what's being covered here. Um, so yeah, there's the graphic. Jack, what stands out to you there in terms of numbers?
Almost four times the next deck so first place is almost four times the percentage of second place. If you just like round to the like that's insane.
Yeah.
Um like to say, "Oh yeah, I won my round," and then almost half the time you can bet that it's gonna be Cauldron that's saying that. That's like as a player in a tournament, right?
Yeah.
Just imagine walking around and like all your friends that won, half of them that won are playing VV.
Yeah, that's
That's
kind of
actually
insane.
insane.
Yeah, very insane.
And And if you block off the 41%, the rest of this meta looks fine, right? Like 13% is the most played deck. Not even a quarter. That's fine, right? Like the mid range is good. This is the quote unquote rat deck right now. It's really cool. They're trying to do something different, and they have like this powerful shell, but they're like again same thing. The payoff, the Shieldred rotated, so they had
Yeah.
to like pivot, and now they play Vren, which is a 4 mana rat that makes dudes when other dudes die. Like it's a
Yeah,
cool deck. And
for sure.
meanwhile, Vivi's here, looking like the One Ring. Like,
Yeah,
like
just
nobody knew that
insanely
this was like
powerful. Yeah.
nobody knew this card was this good. It just took a little while for people to figure it out. We're a whole set later, and people were like, "Wait a second, Corey Steelcutter is actually useless." Like, remember when Jim Davis on Tolarian Community College or Academy killed his opponent without the killed the professor without even using the Corey Steel Cutter? He just had a VV in play, played like 4 spells, got the VV huge, attacked, and then killed the professor with Exacxies, and then was like, I didn't even need the Corey Steel Cutter. And that's standard right now. The
Yeah.
deck is the same deck. It's arguably better, and the only thing that's going on is a card that like maybe naturally they would have like
Yeah,
phased out anyways.
for
So
sure. And looking at the deck list, it definitely seems like VV, like the deck would survive without VV, you know? Like there's a lot of really cool and powerful tools that the deck gets to utilize, and I think it would be okay without it. And I think what you said earlier is really important to mention. This is not just the metagame share. This is the wins. This is the winners metagame share. So this is for decks that are winning at their tournament. 41.4% of them is VV cult. Like that's a way different number than like 41.4% of decks were registered as VV decks. Like no, almost half of the decks that are winning right now are VV decks. Very different number. And I think that that's important to point out there for sure. Because yeah, if you look here, it says he assigned points to each deck based on its rectified number of net wins, calculated as the number of match wins minus losses, and then negative values adjusted to zero. So he's like, okay, so we can just calculate, we can quantify this data, and I can show you who who is winning, and it's very clearly not anyone else. Like,
and what's super important about this too is this shows that Vivi can't be hated out. You can't play hate that's good enough against the deck because they're still winning. It's not like there's another like deck that just solely plays like it's not like Blue Eye Control is number two at like almost the same because people are like having success. Because again, that metric doesn't count for the number of people playing, it's the success of the deck. And so the only decks that are doing that well right now are the VV decks because the mirror is the quote unquote best matchup or
mm,
worst matchup.
right, totally. And he's making an argument down here about how its reign is not guaranteed. If you take a look at the past metagame, Corey Still Cutter, um, at the Pro Tour and regional championship, both were won by Mono Red, and they were running Mage Bane Lizard. So like he's saying that like just because it's the quote unquote best deck does not necessarily mean that it's gonna win every tournament, which is a very important thing to differentiate. Especially if you're doing such a deep dive like this. Question
Yeah.
still stands of whether or not you want 41% of the matches being won by BB, and I don't think you do. I think that that's really unhealthy, personally. Um,
I I was playing on a team in NRG Lansing with my two friends, and we were on team. We called it Absolute Trash. Absolutely awesome. One of them was playing Mono Black Burn and Pauper, and then the modern seat was Infect, and I was playing Goblins and Standard.
hmm,
It was great. We went 1-3, but the point that I'm trying to make was that both of them didn't want to play Standard on Saturday, so they didn't play at all. even though both of them owned and had completely built Vivi.
And they were just like, I'm not
These
interested.
they were just like, I have the best deck, but I do not want to play it because it's not fun, and I don't want to play mirrors all day.
It's a bad place
And
to
like
be for sure.
that's really sad, right? Because
Yeah.
like they love Magic, but they just don't want to play. It's like playing Nadu. That's what people in Standard feel like, and it's
That's what
whether or
I'm
not you
hearing.
enjoy
Yeah.
playing decks like Nadu. So
There you go. For the Nadu aficionados, you're in a great place. Otherwise, this is kind of a bad place to be. So, um, yeah, and then he's doing a good job here. Obviously, we're not going to go too much else into the data. I think it's probably good just to be like, it's important to look at it. Go read the article if you wanted to go into um, more depth. You know,
and shout out to the legend for making it because it's like always something that people dive into,
yeah.
and not enough people give him credit.
Frank Karsten is
Absolute
is an
legend,
absolute beast, dude. The man of math godfather himself. He is the progenitor of all
dude.
things quantifiable magic in my eyes.
I was
Um,
watching like an old school commentary video, like with old school coverage, and they were mentioning Frank Karsten articles
yeah,
in
he's been
old
doing it
school
for
like
so
90s
long. Yeah, he's
like
got such a.
commentary articles.
If anybody has
Like
a
Randy
grasp on the
Bueller.
game, it's him. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So yeah, final thoughts on standard. Do you feel like VV needs to get banned? Would you
Standard
ban VV or would you ban Cauldron?
Standard is in a really, really unique spot because we're closer to like extended basically than we've ever been, with like a huge amount of sets in standard and an accelerated like set release cycle.
Hmm.
There's so many different things changing right now that standard is going to be a mess for a while, and it's kind of a lot of fun right now because it, the issue is that in local metas things get stagnant, but when you play online, you play against a bunch of different decks because like everybody has the cards on Arena. They're not really like constrained by anything, but this like a lot of these tournament results are like showing that the beauty of the standard environment is kind of being corrupted right now by something that's a little bit too powerful, and we're seeing it getting played in all these other formats too. So just like they were like really proactive about banning a bunch of cards to allow this beautiful standard thing to exist, I think they should also ban Vivi. The blue red deck, as you said, is strong enough to stand on its own two legs, and it would be funny to see what happens. And then we can go into Lorwyn with peace. But before Lorwyn, we got some other stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And then yeah, I guess this graphic I probably should have brought this up before zooming out a little bit, but pretty funny.
No, yeah,
This
this
is
is
the top eight bracket. Yeah. What was this,
no, I
Jack?
was just gonna say this is insane. I got out of work, and I had gotten home. I was here. I was playing in this tournament. I had gotten home from the weekend, and then I went to work, and then I got home from work, and I was reposting posting the versus Nikachu vintage final that we were doing,
Yeah.
and I saw this, and I was like, oh, I didn't even look to see who made top eight. I know half of these people. Shout out to the legends. Will Ghost and plays a Boar's Hat all the time.
Yeah.
Absolute legend. And
I remember getting
there's only
rolled by
one.
Will when he was playing Heliod Company. Yeah, he would just come pub stomp
Yeah,
the local
Will.
LGS.
Shout out to Will. Will won an SCG tour, like SCG.
Yeah.
I think forget which city it was, playing Mono Black Helm,
Hmm.
and that was one of the things that inspired me to play Legacy. It was because I saw him, and he was like just a little bit older than me,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh wait, if he can play in tournaments and win, then I can play and win.
100%.
And so and so like shout out to Legend for inspiring other people, but for on one side, all VV, three VV on the other,
Yeah,
one
dude.
Azorius control deck. Like,
That's a
it's a
miserable top eight.
sea of VV.
I don't think
Yeah,
anybody
exactly.
wants to
You're like,
watch that either, right? That's the problem too with like coverage. Nobody wants to watch a VV
yeah.
mirror. Like maybe the most entrenched spikes who are like, let's see, like they're thinking about next tournament and they're like, what can we do to watch the top players get edges on each other um, in the mirror? Like aside from that angle, I can't see any positive like I don't think there's any positive angles from being like, "Oh, it's time for coverage and we're going to cover the VV mirror." And like your one other option is like VV versus control and it's like, "Oh, that's not good either." like
Yeah, it literally like as I said, like I didn't even look, and I'm glad I didn't look because think about it, right? You finish the tournament, you turn on the phone on your drive home, you just hear that the entire topic is VV, and you turn your phone off, right? You
Yeah,
end the stream right there. That's not something that you listen to, right? So like, it's horrible for like Magic to have like this happening too. And
yeah,
it's really tough. But think about it. If you used to play blue red, you would play Legacy because Delver was huge. Then Murktide was printed, and then you would play Modern. You're like, I'm a Legacy player, but I'm playing Modern now because like, this is where like the powerful stuff is. And now it's just standard. And then it was Arclight Phoenix in Pioneer, but
mhm.
now it's just standard. They're just like, we're just gonna give you all the modern playable cards in standard, and everything will be fine. Nothing bad's gonna happen.
Yeah. Cut to now. I like this comment too. This guy
Ridiculous.
says, "This is why I'm a blue-white gamer for life. When the meta becomes maximum toxic, we become Batman." And it's so true. If you look through the years, and it's like randomly you blue-white showing up in like the nastiest, like most degenerate metas, somehow they find a way. Um, yeah, so that's standard, and last time we talked, we didn't really go over Edge of Eternities because it hadn't come out yet. I don't think any of the cards were spoiled. It's been a while.
Yep.
So just wanted to go over Edge of Eternities, and the cards that stand out. Um, First one that I wanted to talk about that Jack brought up is consult the star charts. So if I just do this, just kidding.
This card, this card is insane.
So this is
Um,
one in a blue instant. Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of lands you control. Put one of those cards into your hand. If it was kicked, put two of those cards into your hand instead. Rest of the bottom of your library in any order. Jack, why is this card cracked?
so think about it like this. This is better stock up, and you're gonna freak out, and you're gonna go to the comments section. You're gonna go, no, it's not, Jack. Well, hear me out. Well, let's say you're playing blue eye control, and you're in turn 5, right?
Yep.
You kick this. It's 4 mana, but you can do it at their end step because it's an instant while still holding up counter magic. And then you look at the same number of cards as stock up, and you get to take the same number of cards. But now, let's say you're on turn 19, and you have 19 lands in play because you're a blue white deck, and you're only caring about playing your lands so that you can cast more spells to keep up with what your opponent's trying to do. You look at 19 cards. This is like, I think it's called Pillage the Bog, where you
Hmm.
look at like twice the number of lands you control.
And you get one.
That style of that
Yeah.
style effect that like scales is like so powerful. And Consult, even if you're just paying 2 mana for it, you look through all those cards, it feels like it's a mini Pillage the Bog. It
Or like
also
dig
kind of
through
feels like,
time.
yeah, Dig Through Time's a really good example of it. And like the really powerful thing about Consult is it scales so much that it
Yeah.
can be better than Stock Up because Stock Up will
Better
only
than
ever
dig through
look at
time
5 cards.
too, right? Like it could
And it can
be,
be better than Dig.
and it doesn't require any fuel from the graveyard. It's like it's intrinsically a powerful magic card. Like it doesn't take anything else. All you need to have done is played lands. So I guess the worst part about it is like you need to have lands in play for it to work. But even 2 mana, look at the top two cards of your library, put one in your hand at instant speed.
It's on
That's
rate.
like a completely like that's a good card. Like legitimately,
Yeah.
it's instant speed. It plays to the control deck's like game plan, so they can leave interaction up. Like yeah, that card seems pretty good and probably think of what was it called? Memory Deluge. Memory Deluge was just like a staple in all control
Yeah.
decks going back to like modern. I think Consult the Star Charts is now that type
Yeah,
of replacement level, and like you don't
definitely.
you know Memory Deluge is different because you get to put two cards in your hand twice. But Consult the Star Charts is, in my opinion, like better without the flashback cost. Like if you're not flashing back um Memory Deluge, then Consult the Star Charts is better. So, like it, love it.
Deck decks have been playing 4 Consult, 3 Stock Up. That's how good this card is in standard control. Also, the best hit that you can possibly get, right, is you Consult, kicked, and you grab Stock Up and Consult.
There you go. And you're
And
just
then you're just
and
you're just like
LSV is, even though he's not dead, but he's smiling from above. He's smiling
yeah,
down on you.
you could just draw more cards, and that's why you play both because you could just play both,
Yeah.
and Like the amount of times that I've like run my opponent into like nothing left, and then they go stock up into stock up into stock up, and I'm like,
Mm,
I just lost.
yeah, for sure. Next card we want to talk about here, 0 point ballad. It seems to be making some waves. X and a black, destroy all toughness creatures with toughness X or less. You lose X life. If it's 6 or more, return a creature card put into the A graveyard this way onto the battlefield under your control. Seems solid, good board wipe, and it gives you value in the late game. So pretty much exactly what you want in terms of standard flexibility in a board wipe, right?
Yeah, it's really hard. Like there's choking miasma, there's certain things that like clear the board for cheap.
Mm.
But this is like the black pyroclasm. Yeah, it's more like fiery cannonade, but still it's like
But it's also like
really,
all of those things, right? It's like fiery
yeah,
cannonade, but it's also 4 mana,
anger of
deal
the
3, whatever
gods.
that one was, sweltering
Yeah.
suns or whatever. Like it's
Yeah.
all of those in one, which makes it really good. Like what if you have the blue black gear hulk, I forget what it's called, and you
Oil
like,
deep.
yeah, you play like oil deep on 4, and then 5 you destroy all creatures with toughness 3 or less or whatever, and then you just like have your oil deep. You don't get max value on the ballad, but like you get your life back right away. Like this just seems like a very good card in the game plan, you know?
It's very strong, and every time I play against it, it's overperformed like every single time,
Yeah.
and it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's move on. Um, a card that's been making waves. Jack, what does Cosmic Grand Zenith do here?
Okay, so remember how like they took away um they took away this town ain't big enough because they were like the pixie deck is too strong, and like they don't really need something to reset their Storm Chasers talents that's too powerful. So what most of the decks have done is they've just cut blue, and they've moved exclusively to black white blink. And what's really important is if you have any of the enchantments that enter and kill something or make your opponent sack, and you have a pixie, that's two spells. So like once you have a permanent in play, you cast pixie, pick up the thing, replay the thing. So once you get a Cosmic Grand Zenith in play, every single turn you're guaranteed to be able to activate it. And
Yeah,
if you have two, then you're just making dudes and putting counters on your dudes every single turn.
seems pretty good.
They're able to like activate it very very consistently, and in their control style deck, right? Or like they're able to just like kill your things on their turns because that's just what they want to be doing. Cosmic Grand Zenith takes over the game stupid fast.
Yeah,
It's insane.
that makes sense. Yeah. It just there's not much more to say aside from this card's cracked way over like it's like sort of extremely pushed. Like there's a lot of safety valves on this card that they could have made to make it significantly worse. Like if it was a 4-2 or a 3-3 or a 3-2, that all would have made it worse. If it was one white white instead of two white, that would have made it worse. Like I don't know, this card just screams to me like it's busted and they like really wanted to push like an onboard presence type deck, and they're like, this is how white is going to compete in standard. We need to give them something like this, you know? So
Yeah, this is a card where you play it, and then if you have 4 mana, you just play another like one drop,
yeah,
and you immediately trigger it. Like
yeah,
it's so easy to trigger, and it's each turn, so you can like continuously just go back and forth. It's kind of ridiculous.
yeah. And then the last card I wanted to talk about is Quantum Riddler. I've seen some waves in this in with this card as well. 3 blue for a 4/6 flyer. When it enters, you draw a card, and then it has a static ability of as long as you have one or fewer cards in hand, if you draw a card, one or more cards, you draw that many cards plus one instead. And it also has Warp for 1 and a blue, so you can play it early. And then says that you exile it and you can cast it on a later turn for its mana cost. So yeah, the card seems pretty good in terms of just like, you know, a card that you can play early and get relatively okay value off of. And then it's just like this. It kind of gives me Murktide Regent vibes that draws you cards. Like a standard version of it that's just like big body. It's honestly not like the most impressive thing you could be doing, I think, but I think it supports the game plan pretty well when the rest of your deck is like shoot the sheriffs and enduring curiosities and stuff that like require an engine to be going and you have no cards in hand, Quantum Riddler is like the card you want to draw so that you can draw, you know, enduring curiosity, shoot the sheriff, and then you're like, okay, now I'm doing the thing. So
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to say about Cosmic Grand Zenith decks is they're mainly white black or Zov, except for the fact that some of them want to play stock up and consult, so they just splash blue and Quantum Riddler. Quantum Riddler is being played in modern in the Blink decks because it's just like really
yeah,
good next to Frog.
yeah.
It's really busted overall. You just like ephemerate it, and in standard, it was in a really cool deck where it was a Teamer Battlecrier deck. They had Teamer Battlecrier in play. They untapped with Teamer lands, and then they were able to go 1 mana Riddler, and then go 1 mana Nova Hellkite, because they were warping them. Yeah, so Teamer Battlecrier is
I think I
really
remember
busted.
playing with this card in Tarkir. I think I had two in my pre-release deck, but I just don't remember what it does.
Yeah, so
Teamer
Teamer
colors
colors.
4/3 during your turn spells you cast cost one less to cast. For each creature you control power 4 or greater. Yeah, this card is nuts. This card's very good.
So with this in the field, you can warp the Quantum Riddler for 1
Oh
blue.
god, yeah.
And then once you have the Quantum Riddler in play, you can warp the Nova Hellkite, which is 3
For
for
one
1
red,
red.
which makes it way
And
better. Yeah.
then he did another Nova Hellkite warp for 1 red.
Damn,
And
dude.
then yeah, and then he played a free roaming throne. And I was
Nice.
like so crazy. There's so many cool things.
Yeah, and
But
that's
yeah,
the
it's just
example of something that you could be doing if you weren't playing VP. All that's in standard. So just keep that in
ooh,
mind, Wizards. If I know you're watching this, and I know that you're waiting with bated breath for what we have to say on it, but yeah, that's standard. That's the EOE highlights. Jack, you have anything else to touch on, or are we pretty much good here?
it was a really cool set. Not a lot of it has like really impacted anything because again, like the banned cards really have just like the decks have stayed the same. It's like they've swayed in the storm. They haven't really fallen yet. So I feel like once things start to change a little bit more, like Tarkir style decks are going to be like huge. Like dragons might actually finally be a deck. Mono red dragons is actually a good deck right now for some reason.
There it
Maybe it's
is.
because things are going in the right direction.
Yeah, yeah. So love it, like it, learn it. Here it is.
Leave it.
Um, Up next we have some spoilers for Spider-Man. Just for the sake of time, I feel like we should just go over specifically the front page of stuff. Probably just like pick out a couple that we think are interesting, and then we can come back later for more in-depth spoilers once I've read them more. Once I've done a more fair analysis of the cards, I think we'll have a better time being like, yeah, this card is going to make waves, as opposed to being like, this card looks good. So right now, just kind of going over the stuff that catches our eye, and then probably doing deeper stuff later. So yeah, just looking at the page here, this is all the showcase art. So this is like more comic book y type stuff. Jack, what do you feel? How do you feel about this set? What are you feeling?
I feel like there's certain cards that like definitely feel like they're secret layers, and then the rest of the cards feel like afterthoughts. Like I look at the Soul Stone, and I'm like, you were definitely like the centerpiece of like a secret layer, 1,000%. You can't tell me that there wasn't like a set of like 15 cards, and the Soul Stone wasn't like one of the 15 that got like 4 different treatments, and they
Yeah.
just made it into the set.
Did you
That
hear
being
that
said,
drama about Spider-Man? That apparently it was like a
no.
Assassin's Creed. Apparently it was supposed to be like Assassin's Creed sized and a smaller
Ooh.
set, and then they decided to make it a large set, and so they had to like create more assets. I don't think, from what I've heard, podcasters talk about it, they make it sound like it's a knock on the set. I don't necessarily think that it really is if it was executed correctly and they pivoted correctly. But I do think that it's important to mention just in case there's context required, where if you look at a card and you're like, this seems weird, or like, this doesn't seem right, um,
Yeah.
to
No,
keep that in mind.
definitely.
But
So like that's a great point. I like the flip Spider-Man, like their before and afters are really cool. Gwen,
mhm,
Peter, Miles are all like before and their back sides are like their flipped sides where they're transformed into their like ultimate. I don't know who Spider Punk is. They're just always Spider Punk, which is cool. But that card I think is really really powerful. I
Ooh.
think I'm gonna play that in Goblins because you get to give Krenko haste when it enters.
Creatures with Riot
Uh,
is no joke either. Giving your
oh
creatures. Oh, it says other
no,
spiders you control have
spiders.
Riot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I misread that the first time, but still like being
Yeah.
able the rest of it right. Like can't be countered,
Yeah.
damage can't be prevented. Like
Coming down as a
maybe we play
3/2.
Leyline to change all of our goblins into
Oh
spiders.
no, here it is. Spider-Punk is sweet. You need to watch the if you haven't seen it already, both the Spider-Man animated Spider-Man movies are
No,
fantastic, and this is
I
from
think I
the
saw the
second.
first one.
Yeah, this is from the second one. I think, um, this Gwen specifically is from the second one as well. It's, like, more centered around her story along with Miles Morales, like, afterwards,
That's
but
awesome.
highly recommend those movies if you have not watched like, animated Spider-Man movies. What are you doing? You need to do that right now. So good. But yeah, I think, you know,
If you go up, I think there's like probably like one or two that catch my eye, but besides that, really not a lot to talk about. Um, Anti-Venom, the heretical healer is pretty cool.
yeah,
Um,
for sure, for
like not like
sure. It's kind of like a
the coolest.
vigor that costs white, 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 white. That also reanimates
Exactly.
something. Like that's strong for sure.
Yeah, and besides that, I think like the Soul Stone, but like that's just more of a commander card.
Yes, let's
The
read the
set
soul
definitely
stone. So one in a black indestructible artifact. It taps to add black. You can pay 7 mana and tap the soul stone. Exile a creature you control, and you harness the soul stone. And as long as you have infinity, which is which is harnessing the soul stone, which it says in the reminder text, once harnessed, its infinity ability is active. Great, thanks the soul stone. And then once the infinity ability is active, it says beginning of your upkeep, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So it's like a portal to Phyrexia, like the other half of portal to Phyrexia. Like once it makes you sack 3 creatures that you can just kind of turn on, and it's an indestructible black. Like, you know, it just seems good. It seems like an infinite EDH staple, one of those cards that's going to cost like $40. That's going to make your deck like 0.2% better than just running like an on color signet. And it's going to be one of those cards that you could totally live without. I'm just going to say that right now. You don't need the Soul Stone. EDH is better when you just vibe and you're not worried about optimizing your deck. And so don't stress about buying the Soul Stone, please.
use charcoal diamond
Charcoal
or
Diamond, bro. Yeah, like easy peasy. Like, don't. Yeah. So that's all I gotta
I
say
am
about it.
I am scared this is gonna make demons too good because like a mana rock in black being able to get annex into play on turn 4, making a 6/6
Yeah.
I think it's good. I think like Golgari might be back, and then like fucking the next set is gonna have something it's this set actually. It's
Yeah.
gonna have something that's actually ridiculous. But web slinging is kind of cool. Like you basically get to like bounce a
Yeah.
tapped
So you may
creature.
cast a spell for its web singing cost if you also return a tapped creature you control to its owner's hand. So it says each legendary spell you cast that's one or more colors has web slinging Bant. So if you are uh I guess out of combat main phase 2 and you have tap creatures, you can pay Bant, return one of those tap creatures to your hand and play Atraxa for 3 mana. You could play any card that's one or more that's yeah, one or more colors that's legendary. So Spider-Man seems cool. I mean, it's a 2 mana 0/1 that makes a 2/1 spider. Like that card's just gonna be good because it makes 2 bodies, and then randomly turning it into a 4 mana 4/4 vigilance reach for 4 mana makes this card seem like it would be okay in standard. What are the other transformers? We've got Gwen, one in a red 2/1 enters. You impulse draw, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card for as long as you control this creature. So a little bit better than impulse draw, but you have to keep Gwen in play. So it could potentially be a drawback. Then you can pay 2 in Jeskai colors, 5 mana total. Transform Gwen as a sorcery. She turns into a 4 mana flying vigilance haste whenever you play a land from exile or cast a spell from exile. Put a 1 counter on Ghost Spider, and then you can remove 2 counters from Ghost Spider to exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. So lends itself to an impulse draw type game plan. Although if you transform this for 5 mana, I'd have to imagine you are totally fine with the stats that it comes with, just baseline, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like it levels it up quite a bit. I think
Yeah.
Miles is the best one for sure.
Oh yeah. What's Miles
Um,
do? See if I can make it bigger for you. Yeah.
so Miles Morales is 2 mana for a 1/2, and he enters. Put a 1/1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures.
Pretty
6
good.
mana, transform Miles Morales, activate only as a sorcery. It's a Naya colors. It's for a 4/3 with first strike and haste, camouflage, 2 generic, put a 1/1 counter on Ultimate Spider Man. He gains hexproof and becomes colorless until end of turn. Whenever you attack, double the number of each kind of counter on each spider and legendary creature you control. So he
Wait
gets
a minute.
to
You could
protect.
just pay two, and I guess it's like capped because you need 8 mana in order to like transform it and be able to hold up the pay two. But you can just spam that, by the way, guys. Like, is that doesn't seem great. That doesn't seem fair. And then he also
Yeah.
says when you attack, you double each spider and legendary creature you control, and he's got first strike and haste. Yeah, this card's cracked.
Really good.
It does die to removal, but it seems very good. The front half
No, no
seems
one does it. It protects itself from the removal.
well,
It
if you
doesn't.
have the 2 up, yes, that's true. Uh, and when he enters,
Crazy.
you put a counter on each of the 2 target creatures. That's like obviously you want to play a deck that's got like a 1 drop, or just don't play Morales on turn 2, play another 2 drop, then play him. That
Dude,
seems very good.
we loved what was the hardened scales into, oh my god, I can't believe I forget the 3 drops name.
Winding
Not
Constrictor?
why, yeah, Winding Constrictor into
Rishkar.
Rishkar. Yeah, this is Rishkar for 2 mana.
Dude, yeah. With a worse body, but like who cares? It's 2 mana. That makes it way better in my book. So
Yeah, 1000%. So these cards are really cool. And then
and then more. We have more
we have more.
because we're not done
Don't
shoving
believe.
product down your throat. Are you tired yet? Tough. We have
Top.
top. Oh my god, dude. Hearing people who have never watched Avatar before try to fucking pronounce Toph's name is so it's like rage baiting to me at this point. It feels so infuriating. Hearing Seth say Toph after and then fucking Krim, who's like apparently watched Avatar, also
All of
being
it.
like, yeah, Toph, and then starting to say
Oh,
Toph.
dude.
I'm just like, pull my fucking hair out. And then I
It's
listened
T
to Good Luck High
it's
Five.
TOFF.
Yeah, and then I listened to Good Luck High Five, and they both said Toph, and I'm like, I understand that phonetically, it makes sense to say it that way. Um, but yeah, it breaks my heart. It's
And like
tough, guys.
phonically, it's TOFF. Toff.
Yeah, yeah. So just
TOFF.
burn
Toff.
it into your brains if you're listening. This is your wake up
The
call.
PH makes a F sound. It's fine. It's fine.
So yeah,
Ah.
this is a cool looking set. I'm really excited for Avatar. Out of all of the universes beyond, I think we're starting to get into ones that resonate with me as a someone who's more of like a I don't know, I didn't really participate too much in like Marvel Comics. Final Fantasy didn't get me too good. Lord of the Rings is something I know of but never like spent too much time in the universe. Avatar, I've watched this three times through. Like I know Avatar very well, so I'm really excited to like get into drafting, which is the thing I've been doing most. My way to consume magic has been whenever I have energy, I'll hop into a draft. I'll do a, arena draft with people, and it kind of scratches that itch of, I don't have to spend any money because I'm like just good enough to break even on my drafts. So it feels good to just be like, oh, I'm gonna hop into this. It's gonna be low stakes. and I'm gonna like collect a bunch of cards for the set that I need. So I'm excited to do that with this set and be like, oh shit, I know what Heartless Act does, but also in addition to that, I know this scene very well. Like they're taking Appa away
Yeah.
on the sand sliders, right? Um,
And it's like, "Don't touch" I think I did the YouTube short. "Don't touch Appa. What the
yeah,
fuck are you doing?"
yeah. So
Wizards, how dare you? Like,
right. So let's see, what does Toph do? Are we even gonna be able to tell?
Toph is very strong. Why would it not crazy that it wouldn't give it that treatment is supposed to be on the bottom. Yeah,
There we
it's
go.
that
Oh, it's because there's more than one. This is the showcase art. All right, so one Anaya for a 3/3. Non-token artifacts you control are lands, and then at the beginning of your end step, you earthbend to. What is earthbending? Target land you control becomes a 0/0 creature with haste that's still a land. Put a 2/1 counters on it. When it dies or is exiled, return it to the battlefield tapped. Two things that makes this card busted, or like quality of life busted. Having your lands come back and not have the risk at all of them dying. I guess you could bounce them technically to your hand. That's like the one downside. But then you're still not losing them. They're just in your hand. In addition to that, gives the fucking land haste, so you don't have to like worry about animating the land you just played. Quality of life wise, wow, earthbending also seems like a very powerful mechanic. How do you feel?
this card seemed I was gonna say, first off, earthbending does seem like the most powerful mechanic besides maybe waterbending, but it's really close. Also, I think that this card is actually insane. Like being able to have all of your non-token artifacts be lands, like they don't tap for mana. They don't,
They
yeah, they
do.
don't.
Oh, they don't. I see. I see.
But they still count as lands. So
Right.
like you can animate a munitions as a 2/2 land, and or you can animate some artifact as a land with counters,
Hmm.
and then when it dies, that artifact comes back.
Like a nutrient block. Oh, that's really smart. Yeah, that is really smart actually. So you could Earthbend Nutrient Block, which is a limited staple of Edge of Eternity's 1 mana indestructible artifact. When you sack it, whenever it leaves the battlefield, you draw a card. So you could like Earthbend Nutrient Block, sack it, draw a card, gain 3 life, and then it comes back. That's really next level, I think, for sure. Also, that makes it way better.
It's
Like now that
insane.
I've read that, like the level 1 is doing the land thing, but the level, like, 9 is, like, you know, getting, like, experimental synthesizers or something like that, like, it's just, like,
Yeah.
way better than it looks in that way, so that's cool.
I think this whole top row is really badass. Like
Yeah,
both the Kataras are good. The Fire Lord Zuko's good.
yeah.
Avatarang's good.
What does Zuko do? So he's Mardu mana, red, white, black for a 2/4. He's got Firebending X. Where X is his power, and whenever he attacks, you add X red, specifically red mana. This mana lasts until end of combat. So that's Firebending. When you attack, you firebend X. You add X red, depending on the condition that firebending is dictating, and then the mana specifically always is only there until the end of combat, which means you can only cast spells with flash, instants, or activate abilities in order to use the mana. And then he says, whenever you cast a spell from exile, whenever a permanent you control enters from exile, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. So pretty good.
Counters on your things. I think that is firebending ability is kind of meh.
Yeah,
I think that like you just like cast a bunch of spells, make them huge, and then like go to combat attack, and then like cast like some sort of pump spell for free, like basically for free
basically for
because
free.
you have all that
Yeah.
mana.
I think the level up with this would be like obviously it's Mardu mana, but playing like flash or instant speed stuff and or having really powerful activated abilities that you can use. The problem is that usually the most powerful activated abilities you can only do at sorcery speed. So
Speaking of really powerful activated abilities, the other Katara that's Azorius is insane.
there you go. So this would pair
Uh
potentially well if you could fit these both in the same deck somehow. Yeah, what does Katara do?
5 mana for a 3/3 with Vigilance. When it enters, you make a 1/1 white ally creature token. Waterbend X. Creatures you control have base power and toughness XX until end of turn. X can't be 0. Activate only during your turn. Waterbending means that you can tap artifacts, I believe enchantments, and
Creatures.
uh, and creatures in order to activate it.
Let's see if we can find a good
So
water bending. Here's water bend. While paying a water bend cost, you can tap your artifacts and creatures to help. So
no
it's
enchantments.
it's improvise and it's convoke for your activated
Yeah,
abilities.
which is crazy,
Which is
which is crazy
very
because
good.
it's mirror entity on an
Hmm.
activated ability, but it is on a 5 drop because mirror entity is dumb. But I think this card's really good because it gives you a body right away. And then let's say you
Hmm.
just like have other tokens. Like artifacts are huge. So like let's say you just like have like the start that we were talking. Let's
Yeah,
say you're just playing 5 color legends, right? You got the nutrient block and everything, right?
yeah.
You can like make all of your 1/1s, 2/2s, or 3/3s. Or you could tap Katara even, right?
Hmm. Only as a
Katara
source. Oh wait, it says only during your turn, so you could technically attack with Katara and then tap her. I think that's probably what secretly what they want you to do is to
that's a good
attack.
point.
And if you had vigilance, for example, you could send your whole team if they all had vigilance, and then just tap your whole team to make them insanely insanely long.
Cole
Yeah,
broke it.
great in a vigilance deck. Yep, thanks, homie. Thanks, Robert. Um, yeah, so cool. Waterbending is cool. Firebending is meh. Earthbending seems good. And then where is airbending?
So airbending is gonna be on like the
Oh,
base
Appa has
card base.
has yeah, Appa has airbending, right? So what does Appa do? Appa is 2 white for a 3/4. Oh, what did I just do? Full screen. Um, 2 white for a 3/4 flash and flying. Dude, restoration Appa is so cool. And then when he enters, you airbend any number of other target non-land permanents you control, which means you exile them. And while each one is exiled, its owner may cast it for 2 rather than its mana cost. So it's like if you thought of have you ever played with Party Bus? I used to watch Jeff Hoagland play that deck all the time.
Yeah,
Like
I,
5
I remember.
mana,
I
like
remember we used to play it.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was like a 5 mana like goat or like beast or something, and when it entered, it would like scoop all of your cards up against it. Then whenever it left, it would like bring them all back.
Yeah.
This card gives me that vibes, except like you have a lot of like agency, and also whenever you cast a spell from exile, you make a 1/1. So it's just like you know
It's
board
really
wipe.
good.
Appa, he's in here. He's gonna save your whole team. You're just gonna have to pay 2 for each of them. He'll die. Everyone else will live. Or like removal spell Appa, he's in there. He's and like you're gonna get value from it too. It's non-land permanents you control, so you can like blink all of your fucking like stuff that sticks around. Like Appa seems very good, and he like I don't know if I can stress enough how badass 4 mana 3/4 flash flying body is. Like that, if anything will be able to compete, like that's a good body for sure. So
And I really hope that it still is. I hope that they have the power grid.
very possible that it's not viable
Because we
anymore.
love we love it.
Yeah.
Yep,
So yeah.
yeah, I think besides that, right, there's like some other cool cards. Faded Firepower is really cool. It's like Iroh being like
Mhm,
harnessing the power of like the comet to attack, like to crack back.
mhm.
Redirect Lightning is like a really like iconic moment. Also, it's like
It's a
better at
lesson,
deflecting SWAT.
and it's a
Yeah,
lesson. Yeah,
it's a lesson. They can learn
that's
it.
that's probably important to talk about. So 1 red instant, it's additional cost to cast it, pay 5 life or pay 2, and then you can redirect. So change a single target spell or ability with a single target. I do believe that with counter spells, this does work so that you can cast redirect lightning and target the counter spell with redirect lightning, or I'm not 100%
No,
sure.
no, you change the target. So you cast one spell, they counter it. And then you cast a spell, they counter it, stack top down. And then you redirect lightning, changing the target of the counter spell to the ring direct lightning.
Right, right. I gotcha. I'm on the same page.
And then and then it fizzles
So
the
and you could do that for 1 mana and pay 5 life. It's like that seems potentially very strong. I'm not gonna go in and see who's be learning or what sort of learn enablers we
there's
have.
there, there, there's no
Um,
there's no there, they've announced that there will be lessons with nothing to learn. No
great.
way no
I
ways
love
to
that for
learn.
us. Okay. Got it. What? Okay, so I guess they're just, like, playable cards you play in your main deck that can also be lessons down the road. So,
In
awesome.
EDH. In EDH.
I'm not even gonna try and dissect that. You can't have a lesson board in EDH. You can't. You're not allowed to have any sort of sideboard in EDH, so that doesn't even work. So either this is a plug for, like,
Arena?
Pioneer or, like, a
Yeah.
future standard format, or it's just dumb. That's really funny. That's really funny. But yeah, this set's cool. Like I said, same thing as Spider-Man. I'm not gonna go too much further into it because I think there's a lot of like cool things in here that I need to uncover, and then we can go from there. So here we are, state of the game. A lot going on. I think I will just like to talk about like, hey, there's a lot of like stuff going on in the world. It's okay to feel overwhelmed by the pacing of the stuff that comes out, and it's even more okay to like miss stuff and then like come back later. So if you're feeling like you're, missing stuff, magic will always be there for you when you come back. There's no like you're falling behind, like just get to it when you can. So that's what I
Yeah.
got for you.
Yeah. And sometimes it's good for a laugh because you come back and you're like, "What do you mean Vivi's got a higher win percentage than Corey Stillcutter?"
Yeah,
Like, well,
it's just how
yep.
those things work out. So all right, well, we'll call it there. Thank you for hanging out for Goblin or the Jack and Cole podcast, episode 23. Till next time, have a good one.
Peace.
Peace.